Hello, football family. Welcome into Huddle It Up Films. Here, 3 days before the draft. Let me get my step right. A little late scrambling by me. Just got out the shower. Sorry for the hair. Got my man Alec in the house, fresh off a busy Easter weekend. A little under the weather. Rocking the Rush T-shirt. Love it, Alec. How you doing, man?
Doing well, man. Happy to talk about the draft. I can't believe it's this week. It's really throwing me for a loop.
It's here. It's here. We've been waiting a long time. So this is the fifth and final draft show before draft day on Thursday. We'll be coming at you live on draft day coverage. Got the best available already queued up, ready to go down there at the bottom. Maybe I'll leave that thing up for a little while. Got the Ravens offensive rankings for last year. Got their defensive rankings for last year. So working on the graphics for the show tonight. The purpose is creating the perfect draft scenario for the Ravens. So, on draft day, players fall. Kyle Hamilton fell into their laps. The purpose of this exercise, and here's the important part, excuse me, is that whoever the Ravens pick at pick 27 will perform like you expect the 27th pick to perform. So he's going to be a starter. He's going to be a guy who's going to be vying for a second contract with the Ravens. He's not going to overshoot his draft slot and be a top 5 guy in the league, but he's not going to be a bust. Okay, so whoever we pick at 27 is going to perform like the 27th pick, and we're going to do that all the way through the 4th round. So same concept with whoever we pick at 59, whoever we pick at 91. It's going to be straight, hey, you're getting a guy at this position who's going to perform in their draft slot. So basically the purpose of this is how do we fill the holes on our roster for this year and in the future? Where do you want your developmental players? Where do you want the guy who's ready to start immediately? And that's the purpose of the draft show tonight. Alec, what's your overall thoughts on, the show setup and anything else you can give me right now?
I mean, I like it. I think I was telling you before how I think sequencing the draft is the biggest area of interest when I think about the draft, because you have to look at the whole picture and think, where can I get players, at what position, and each pick kind of dictates the next. So, for instance, I have 5 positions that I think the Ravens could draft in the first round. But the second they do that, it has a domino effect of how they'll attack the second, third, and fourth round realistically, right? Like they could double up on defensive line. Don't get me wrong, but if they take one safety, I don't see them taking another until maybe the 6th round.
Exactly.
So it's things of that nature. Or if they take a guard in the first pick, it's like, okay, that's exciting. That fills in a need right away. But then maybe they don't take another guard or offensive lineman at all until, again, the 5th, 6th round. But how I see it is, I think there are 5 high needs for this team going into the draft, and I expect those 5 to be hit in the first 5 picks. Give or take. Like that's kind of, and I think I'm not saying that you need to do a needs based draft. I've been looking at your big board, I've been looking at other people's boards, and I have a feeling that there will be a high quality selection at each of those spots. Now, maybe it is not taking the best player available, quote unquote, because you never know exactly how the draft will fall. But I think that you can kind of still create the perfect draft.
There you go. So I love it, Alec. And that's the purpose of this exercise. The Ravens are going to go BPA/need like they always do. We can trust them with that. But this is the board basically falling to us how we want to. And I'm going to throw in some names. I'm going to challenge Alec to throw in some names. Want to get everybody involved here right away. The day was in here early. And last week he said, let's go. And I said, Alec, dare I say LFG? The day follows up with a let's Franken go. So family friendly. And he remembered to add the F in there. Love you the day. That's quality right there. Dr. Draft Terry is joining us in there. We'll be filling prescriptions in the next 3 days. No refills. Got to come back to Dr. Draft to get that refill. So, and I'm going to be counting on y'all to play along tonight. So what do you want in the first round? This first round falls perfect. Who's your perfect prospect to take in the first? I'll be bringing up anybody who is willing and able to play along tonight. Got our guy, James, in here tonight. Jim 20 Eyes. Hey, y'all. Hey, what's going on, James? And Cosmonaut Project. You know this guy, Alec. Alec in the house. Cosmonaut Project is a big fan of Alex Hoagies, the hoagie maker. O'Dairy joining us. What's up, Jason? Football is family. Let's go. Raven ready. You're always Raven ready. And then, of course, it's the DON to the C. Bro, it's Don C. Got more game than Kaliko. Don C. What's up, Jake and Alec? And Alec already getting some run for his Rush t-shirt. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. So, yeah, we got some family in here with us tonight. I want y'all to play along, though. I know y'all talk a big game, but then I'm the draft doctor and I'm this and I'm that. And then y'all don't play along. So, I'm going to go first. I'll kick us off here, Alec.
Yeah.
Unless you want to go first. You want to go first?
I want you to go first because I'm afraid that I'm going to take the same guys because I'm very influenced by your big board. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
I'm curious. I'm going to let you know if maybe if you say the same guy I was going to say, then I'll pivot. You know what I mean? But go ahead. You can start.
And I'm changing my color to purple because we had another
Nice.
guest scheduled tonight who could not make it, unfortunately. So I had to choose the Ravens, the off one. Okay, so my first round pick, the draft falls perfectly to us, and I'm taking Kelvin Banks.
I thought you might.
I'm taking Kelvin Banks. Now, I thought about this a while. I would love to have one of those stud safeties like Eamon Worry or Starks, but I'm taking Banks for a couple of reasons. Number one, I mean, this is a really good player from a good school, a Power Five, I guess you call him Power Four university. He can play tackle. He profiles as a tackle in the NFL, but he's also has the guard body type, like prototypical guard body type. I think a transition to guard his first couple of years, or if something happens to Ronnie where he needs to take over the left tackle, fine. But this man is built like a guard, 6'5", 315. He's got good length for a guard, 33 and a half inches. And he came out in his age 21-year-old season, Alex. So he was a freshman, All-American at Texas. He won all kinds of awards for his play this year as a true junior, comes out to the draft. Is he a perfect prospect? No, or else he'd go in the top 10. Has some things to clear up. I think his best game he ever had was he faced Will Anderson when he was a freshman, Alec, and held up really well in that game. And that put him on the map as a college player. Heavy-handed player. Came in, started as a freshman, as I mentioned, 3-year starter. And he's got a huge wingspan. He's actually wider than Tyler Booker. So you're talking about like broad shoulders on those arms. A guy who's built to play guard. He could play left guard for you this year. Easy mover, really good in space. You can run him in outside zone, Alec. You can have him climb to the second level. So in this scenario, Alec, I have the Ravens addressing the O-line early. If Ronnie goes down, if Roger Rosengard goes down, we have nobody, literally no one on the roster right now as a third tackle. And then, he can challenge for one of those guard spots, upgrade you from, say, a Voorhees or a Faalele at the guard spot. Give us some depth, make that line, build the wall in front of Lamar, Alec.
Nice. Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to go guard based on our conversations. And honestly, when you think about these needs that I've been talking about, I can just tell you the 5 off the top of my head. It's guard/tackle, right? If you draft a tackle, they're moving into guard year one, most likely. Safety, cornerback, edge, and defensive line. Now, if you think about all those positions and then just like the probable depth chart, the only one that's going to get 100% of snaps is the guard position. So you think to yourself, if you're spending a first-round pick, maybe you want to go guard because they're going to take a lot of the snaps. There's a couple guys that you have in that sweet spot. Banks one of them, Booker, Jackson. Those are all guys that would be valuable first-round picks that you wouldn't be too upset about. So I can see how you might go guard. Then you might think to yourself, can I get greedy? Can I push down the line? Because the Ravens have invested a lot of third, fourth-round picks in the guards that turn out to be quite good. So that's another thing. So when I'm thinking about it, my first pick is going to be Harmon, just the one behind him in your ranks, defensive line. It's not an every down player, but if you're unable to keep Travis Jones, he'll very quickly become that. Not every down, but you know what I mean, like a high level in the rotation. And usually this kind of pick takes time. Defensive line, first year, the impact might be a little bit less. But over the years, they'll increase and increase. And it kind of fits the mold of what we're looking for in like our team trajectory. So I really like the idea of going defensive line first, but I won't be heartbroken if they don't do it because there is so much depth in this position. But based on the way I was like kind of looking at the board, I kind of like that as the first pick.
Have you studied Harmon a lot, Alec? Is this a guy that you put a lot of stock into? If so, I'm asking just like what sticks out to you about him that you think would fit with the Ravens?
Honestly, like I've heard a lot of people talk about him as just, I would say, most likely not to fail. Maybe be more of a single. Like I know, for instance, maybe you would some people like Noel a little bit more, um, but or Nolan rather, but he has a little bit more volatility. And one of the kind of things you were talking about is they want to perform like the 27th pick would be, and therefore that's why I lean towards Harmon.
Okay, love it, love it. Harmon is built like a Raven. He plays like a Raven. He's on the short list of guys that I could when I watched. I'm like, yeah, that guy right there, Derek Harmon, plays like a Raven. He's got the body type for this, like Travis Jones, oversized three tech, who can hold up against the run, but his play style is more like a penetrating, 4-3 even front defensive lineman. So he's got like a lot of everything to him. Um, yeah, he is. He plays the game. His pass rush upside is great. He plays the game hard. His run defense can improve, but I think it will. He's got like his arms are very long. His body type just screams that he'll be able to two gap when you ask him to. But Harmon he's a nightmare to handle one on one for guards, and I think that will translate at the NFL level. Um, the Doctor Draft. I always want to call you Draft Doctor. Doctor Draft said he would go with Donovan Jackson. That would be a great pick too. It would be along the same lines of what I'm thinking here. Terry, guard who can play tackle. Donovan Jackson showed he could play tackle. Helped Ohio State win the national championship. Sliding out there for Josh Simmons, a very safe pick. So Donovan Jackson, he's lower on people's boards than I think he should be. He's my starred prospect at that angle. Where do I have him on the draft board, Alec? He's in the 20s. I don't know if you have that up there. I'm trying not to toggle my screens. But
Yeah,
Donovan Jackson,
I thought he was 22. Let me see.
probably a little
No,
later than
no,
that.
that's Booker. 20. Where is he? Oh, 32.
Yeah, so Donovan Jackson, I have, people think he's a second round guy. I think Donovan Jackson is worthy of a first round pick. The fact that he plays guard, Alec, is the only reason he's not going to be. If he was the same level of player at wide receiver or edge, Donovan Jackson will be a first round lock, probably middle of the first round. That's how good of a college player he was. Um, Don C says, I like Banks. These are all the Banks comments coming in here. Frank Black saying Banks was the guy I was thinking about. Let him compete at guard. Exactly. And if something happened to Ronnie, you could slide him out to left tackle. Ronnie has just played his first full season in a Ravens uniform this past year. So we can't pretend that injuries don't happen, and we can't pretend that Ronnie's been an Iron Man. He's coming off a brutal, brutal injury, finally getting back from that one. The Day, Pierce, number 27. All right, so the Day is planting his flag on James Pierce. That would be an excellent pick. He would definitely add juice to the pass rush. Love it. Our guy Jim saying draft aside, we need a Josh Jones O-line type vet. So that's kind of where I'm going for with my pick, Alec, a tackle who can play guard as well.
Nice. And I'm seeing also in the chat, sounds like there might be an injury concern for Harmon. So I'm just seeing this in the last day or so. Things have been coming out about that. So I'll have to look into that. Did not know about that.
Do you mind where where you got that from?
There's a couple places. I mean, Sports Illustrated 3 hours ago said he could fall due to medical concerns. But it doesn't say what the concern is. So yeah, I don't know, but maybe they found something in his physicals.
Interesting.
I will say, like, that's like the annoying thing about the ripple effect, right? Like I've thought about a bunch of different players to take first. And really the reason why I went DL here is because I just think it's a unique spot to be in this year with the draft and to attack the defensive line, maybe early and often. But, okay, knee. Interesting. That makes me concerned. I mean, I will tell you who my second pick would have been, but I kind of liked somebody a little bit longer or later in the draft that might have been a steal, so to speak. So,
wow. See, this kind of stuff pops up so quickly. And, there's guys like Tevin Jenkins is the most recent example that really, really got me. I wanted him. I remember I was on with Sarah Ellison, and both of us were on the Jenkins trade that year, Alec. And I think we picked away with that pick. I'm not sure what year it was.
Yeah, that
Maybe
was
it
the
was
one.
Patrick Queen, but Sarah and I wanted Tevin Jenkins, and then Jenkins fell in the draft, and it turns out, oh well, he has a torn shoulder. He's going to need surgery, and nobody knew about that. When we're making the draft board, nobody knew about that. So yes, it's very very frustrating. We had a call from Jason Z in here. He wants Ezaraku at 27. I would love that juice to the pass rush. Saw somebody mention James Pierce. So we have people in here, Alec, that want to add to that pass rush immediately, brother, to upgrade it. Because if you wait on pass rushers like Alec and I have chosen to do, you're really not improving the immediate upside. Like it's hard to find a pass rusher that's going to be better than Oweh and Van Noy in their first year. It's something that you can count on. You really can't count on much outside the first round, and for most teams, even their first round pick, they can't count on Alec.
I know. Yeah, I think honestly, you going and tackle guard there makes a lot of sense. I just wanted to be a little different because, that's a position that you very clearly can see how you can add to the line and expect them to start from day one.
All right, so pick number 2. You want to go, or you want me to go? Because I have a feeling we're going to match this one. I don't know why. Yeah, this has been a popular.
All right. What if we say it together on 3, and then say it's the same word?
All right.
So 1, 2, 3.
Watts.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey, dude, we got a triple in here. All right, Xavier Watts in the second round. Well, I go ahead and type this in. And Frank Black chiming in too. JP Bugs, bro. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like such a perfect fit if this man happens to fall. And Alec, I'm thinking if everybody's thinking he's fall, like everybody wants him in the second, then he's probably going to go like the top of the second.
I know. That's what I'm thinking too, honestly. I think I'm being a little too greedy here. I also thought, I wrote this down in my notes before we even recorded last week. I said, if we don't take safety in the first round, which by the way, we're only talking about 2 guys, and I would say maybe one's there, but most likely not both. And there's a chance that 0 of them are there. So then you kind of want a Watts. You're hoping that he doesn't go any further back. But I feel like we're just telestrating it. It is such a clear pick for the Ravens to take that somebody might jump ahead because they know, the Ravens are going to take Watts.
Right.
We can't just let them fall right into their laps. So that's my only concern about Watts and why I think he'll go earlier is I think if Watts is still on the board and it's 3 or 4 picks before the Ravens pick, either we need to trade up to get him from the other sniper, or we're gonna get sniped. That's my guess.
I love it. So yeah, Watts is a popular pick. So we got Jim. Hey, he wants to get TJ Sanders for the pass rush. TJ Sanders, Jim, stood out to me because he's very good against the run. And TJ Sanders reminds me a little bit of the guy Mike Hall from Ohio State last year, where Alec, he gets up as a defensive lineman and gets up and dances with the O lineman. So he's got kind of that stagger step. Which way you going? I'm going to go this way. Let me get you off balance. I'm going to go club move you and get to the quarterback. The difference is with Mike Hall, I did not like his run defense. He was a little undersized. TJ Sanders has got the size to hold up in the run game as well. I feel like I'm higher on him. I'm glad to see you mention his name. Haven't seen him mentioned a lot. But yeah, TJ Sanders on the D-line, definitely pass rush upside. He's got some moves, and I thought that he found the ball really well. You have my notes on him, Alec, that you could get to. You guys see my notes down at the bottom, all the different tabs I have. I'm not going to go back and forth. But, yeah, Crafty Sanders is the day is saying. And a lot of Kevin Winston love in here. Coming off the injury is the only issue. And, Jason, this is a hip injury. Winston would definitely be a second-round pick in this draft. He might still be. I don't know. I get, if he missed the season with a hip injury, I'm getting scarred, Alec, with the Dennis Pitta stuff. And if it was a knee or a shoulder or something else, I'm like, all right, he'll come back. He'll be the same player. But the hip stuff, I don't know what it is. Hips and backs are the 2 things that really scare me if a prospect's coming into the league with.
Yeah, understandably so. They're a lot of range of motion comes from there, obviously. And that's such an important part in football.
All right, so look, the cursor is on yours. So you got your defensive lineman taken care of. Derek Harmon, could be the guy that allows us to let Travis Jones go. Everybody wants Travis Jones to stay. We also got to sign Kyle Hamilton. We got to sign Tyler Linderbaum. We probably want to sign Isaiah Likely. Adafio Way's up for a contract. Travis Jones is up for a contract. We can't keep them all. So Derek Harmon would help us immensely there and help us this year. Then you got Xavier Watts as a safety, as I do. So, okay, third round, Alec, what position are you going for? Do you have a name in mind?
I do, but you might think it's a little too greedy. I'm thinking it's a little too greedy. I don't know how realistic it is. So
Get greedy, bro. Get greedy.
All right. I want number 63 on your big board, 64 on Dane Brugler's big board. Your star prospect at edge. What is Olandeo?
Yeah, Oladejo.
Olandeo, yeah. So I'm over here thinking to myself, can I get away with a traitsy guy? He flashed at the Senior Bowl, good combine, young prospect, 21 and a half, entering the draft. I think to myself, maybe we can get something out of him. I actually think, if I recall correctly, listening to the podcasts that Dane's done, I think he's actually said that the Ravens this is a guy he could see going to the Ravens. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, maybe the stars align, maybe we can get him, and I think that's super exciting because I will say this: the one reason I wouldn't draft edge earlier on, day 2, and maybe wait till day 3, is because the Ravens have had a good success rate getting these vets to come in, mercenaries, 1 year at a time, and having a good pass rush. We're addressing pass rush with the defensive line. If we keep Travis Jones, we have this Harmon guy, maybe or maybe not, medicals, who knows. But if you're addressing defensive line in this draft as well, you're having a really holistic pass rush plan. I could see waiting on this, but it's one of those things where you need to hit these premium positions early and often. I would say the other thing I was looking here was corner. Another guy, I had in mind maybe was the Parrish. So that was maybe a little bit less of a greedy pick. I think he is more likely to be available than Olandeo at 93 or 91 rather, but we'll see.
Love it. No, I mean, yeah, starred player, so I like him. Surprised to see Dane have him in the same range as I do. He's a converted pass rusher. Alex started off-ball guy, and we're seeing that more and more. The off-ball guys are, with pass rush upside, they know they can get drafted and make more money if they play edge. And Oladejo really stood out to me at the Senior Bowl. He's got stuff to learn, obviously. He's new to being a pass rusher, but he's got a natural feel for it, and it's just something you can't teach. Some guys have a real feel for the game. Some guys don't. Some guys have a feel for playing deep. Some guys have a feel for, field vision. Some guys just have a really good feel for tackling. Pass rushing seems to come natural to Olufemi Oladejo. And, for a convert, I'm thinking, well, he doesn't have much moves, body control, that kind of thing. But he really, his toolbox is kind of limited. But he finds a way to get the tackles off balance. And he's got enough quickness. And he's got 1-2 in the run game. He'll get better at setting the edge. He needs to get a little bit stronger. But, yeah, I really like Femi Oladejo. Good player. Jason checking back in. Ezraku, Watts, and either D-line or Porter with his third pick. All right. I love it. See, and the thing is with this, no matter who picks what, there's going to be multiple people saying, Alec, you didn't get this. Jason, you didn't get this. Jason Z, you didn't get this. So you can't fill them all. So what are you willing to scrimp on? And, you're mentioning for the edge, like if you didn't get one now, I'm going to tell you right now, I am not taking an edge with this pick. And my philosophy is the veteran path, the same as you, Alec. Mm-hmm. We find veterans who can come in. Maybe Adisa Isaac surprises us. Tavius looks pretty good, but we can find someone else at edge. Look, we're trying to win a Super Bowl right now. Let's get our secondary straight. So I'm going to boost this secondary, and I'm going to do it with someone with a ton, and I mean a ton of interceptions, and that's Noel Williams out of California. The man had 7 interceptions this year. He has 14 interceptions career. Ball hawk. I love Noah Williams because his eyes are pure, and the same thing with Xavier Watts. So we got Xavier Watts, I got Noah Williams. You're talking about two guys who see the field and are extremely, extremely instinctive players, playmakers. 7 interceptions this year again for Noah Williams. Just extremely impressive eye balance. He can see the quarterback. He can feel what his guy is doing, the guy he's guarding. His biggest bugaboo is he ran a 4.5 flat. Okay, so he doesn't have that speed, but he's 6 foot tall, 199. He also had a kickoff return for a touchdown. It goes back to his excellent field vision that translates. So you have somebody that maybe can return kicks, return punts for you. Excellent ball skills. He is a 5th-year senior, so I think that's keeping him down some. So he'll probably be 23 years old this year. But yeah, you get somebody in the secondary with some takeaway skills. You have to work on them a little bit with tackling. But I'm going to go ahead and address that secondary, get us some depth with a guy who profiles as an outside corner and a ball hawk that you can play in zone. You're not going to ask Noah Williams to man up against some of the faster receivers, the beasts in this league, but he can play a role for you over there, not mess it up, play you in short zone, play the back end of cover 3, and be really productive. So I'm not playing any games with the offensive line, and I'm not playing any games with the secondary in this scenario, Alec.
Nice. I love it. Like I said, I mentioned I was looking at corner 2 on your big board. I like that pick a lot. I saw in the comments Jim 20 Eyes saying, I don't have a guard yet. I'm waiting until the late 4th to get a guy. And it will be the next thing I address. No worries. Again, looking at Jason's big board, also looking at how Brugler has some of these guys ranked. I just have a feeling that one of these guards is going to slip through the cracks. And there will be one of these 3 guys I'm looking at here that'll be available.
Yeah, and part of my philosophy, just to go like against Alec, or the counter argument for me, is like I don't like the drop off at guard at all in this draft. Like Harmon is a beast. I think Harmon's going to be an excellent player, maybe a better player at his position than Banks. But if I'm trying to win a Super Bowl within the next 10 years, I'm looking at that offensive line help, and it's just hard to find. It's hard to get cheap guys. Guards are making over $20 million a year now. So it's like, they're defensive linemen throughout the draft. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and post my next pick now. And I think our guy, Jim, has mentioned this guy, and I like him a lot. I think he might fall because he is not a pass rusher. He's more of a run stuffer, and that's Caldwell out of Oregon. Love this guy for a couple of reasons. Number one, his body type, Alec. He's 6'2". Oh, he's a short guy. 332. Okay, so
bowling ball.
6'2", 332 tells you something about like how impossible this man is to move in the run game. And he was Derek Harmon's teammate, Alec. So I got to watch a lot of this Oregon defensive line, and where we saw people in the comments knocking Harmon for his run defense, Alec. This guy Caldwell, he's a shorter arm guy, only 32-inch arms. But he's just so impossible to move. And his run defense, like the discipline within it, the gap discipline, the know-how, the being able to see the ball through the guy he's working against, the guy trying to block him, is excellent. He would improve our run defense right away. And then a lot of people, I don't know if they saw it, but I bet a lot of Caldwell fans saw his Senior Bowl. And it reminded me a lot of Travis Jones, the way he dominated the Senior Bowl, Alec. Except this guy's quick. Okay, he's got that twitchiness for being short, low to the ground, explosive. So he does have pass rush upside. Those guys at the Senior Bowl had a hard time stopping him. Like his Caldwell's get off is real. So he gets that 332 pounds going in a hurry with that 6'2" frame. And it can really cause chaos on some of these rushes. Will he be a finisher? Will he be a 5-sack guy? I don't know. But I really, really like Jamari Caldwell.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I like that pick. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Ravens. So I mentioned I'm going guard here. And I'm looking at your big board. I'm looking in the 4th column, and I see a bunch of guards that you have day 2 pick, day 3 value. And I'm thinking maybe one of them falls. You have Rivers, Frazier, and Fairchild.
Hey, it's the perfect draft, brother. You go for it. Get aggressive. Get aggressive.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna go with I think Fairchild. When I was looking at all of their measurables, just because. Is it Fairchild? Oh no, actually,
Go ahead, man. I'm a typer. I got it. I'm
no.
typing in the dark over here, by the way, so it's a little challenging.
Nice. Yeah, it was like Fairchild or Rivers. Tough to pick between the two. I'm curious what your evaluations would be, but I mean, I guess based on your big board, that I would want to go Fairchild.
Okay. Well, hey, my valuations are this. I think Fairchild is a higher floor guy. I think Rivers is the higher upside guy. So
Okay.
it's really hard to place them on the board. Fairchild, coming from Georgia, left guard, built like a guard, plays like a guard. Fairchild is a former wrestler, got that background. I was not impressed with his play strength when I first watched Fairchild. He is a very active player, but I saw him having trouble moving some of these bigger players. But pass pro, very good. Just a very solid all around player. If he's not going to move people in the run game, people like his play strength more than I do. But even if he's not going to move people in the run game, Alec, he's got the feet to be able to be a positional blocker to really execute all the assignments. Rivers, Jalen Rivers out of Miami, I don't know why he's not getting more love. He played left tackle there, I believe, and held up well at left tackle, but he moves like a guard. The only thing that keeps him, if you can go to my notes, Alec, for me, he had
Sure.
three injuries, or maybe if it's not, he had missed time in three different seasons with injuries. None of them disrupted him, and Jalen Rivers performed at the combine. He was a full go at the Senior Bowl. He's got extremely long arms, big body, more of a power guy. But of course, if he played left tackle, he's got some good feet to him too. So it's more of a style thing. Like Rivers has all the traits. His injuries would be a concern for you. Fairchild, I would say, is a safe, solid pick. I think both would be ready to go middle through this year. You know how the Ravens like to slow play their offensive linemen, so maybe they don't unseat a guard early in the year, but maybe halfway through the year they'll be probably your best option.
Yeah, Rivers did miss time 21, 22, and 24 based on your notes. Yeah, like you said, a little bit riskier of a pick there. Seems like we got some Rivers like fans though in the comments.
Yeah, he's extremely long, Alec. What is he, 34 plus?
Yeah.
Hey, we got Heather in the chat too. Wanted to bring Heather up. Say NFL is a copycat league. If all 31 teams are smart, they will follow the formula Phil used: trenches, trenches, trenches. Now, man, this is a really astute comment here with Heather. It is so much of a copycat league, and everybody's going to be looking for pass rush. It wouldn't surprise me, whatever the over is on pass rushers, defensive linemen taken in the first round, Alec, like bet the over, I would say, because I 100% agree with what Heather's saying. If you don't have a quarterback, other than the quarterback, rather, you want people who can affect the quarterback. Quarterback, most important position, affecting the quarterback, next most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think you look at how deep this defensive line draft is, how many edges there are. You can see a lot of those guys flying off the board. And then, like you said, on the other side of the ball, guards, they'll be going off the board. Tackles are always at premium. So, yeah, definitely keep an eye on the trenches.
So, yeah, thank you very much, Heather. I'm seeing some love here from Zay Frazier, for Zay Frazier from the day, and also for Don C. Yeah, this man, the 4.36, yeah, he is a little light in the pants, but Don, with this kind of thing, I'm sure you're agreeing with me if Zay is your guy. Um, I feel like tackling is important for a corner. The Ravens always emphasize tackling, but it's more about the want to. It's more about the want to. You get to the NFL level, guys do become better tacklers. Sometimes in college, you're worried about your draft status. You don't want to get banged up. And some guys get unfairly labeled. Like Zay is only 186 at 6'3", so he's thin. You put on 10 pounds, he's not going to lose too much speed. He's already a 4.36 guy. But yeah, Tyreek Woolen all the way. You're talking about upside, somebody you can get on day two. Zay Frazier, definitely a guy. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes early just because of that height and speed. You know, like weight is one thing for a corner, but if you're tall enough to contest a catch and you blaze like that, you got a role in an NFL defense, Alec.
For sure, man. And I think the interesting thing we have going on here is this back-to-back nature of the fourth round picks. Only 7 picks apart. So I think we're looking at, kind of similar prospects here. So I could see these two kind of picks being flipped potentially.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're heading up on our final picks here in the fourth round. I am not going to go edge here.
Okay.
And again, I think the thing is, if we add an edge at this point, we already have a very crowded room with Adisa Isaac, uh, Tavius Robinson, and Ajabo hanging on by a thread. Malik Cam coming back. How many are we going to keep behind Van Noy and Oway? And then to add to it, if you add an edge in this round, can he play special teams? Can he get himself active? Like, I feel like we'd be better off just spending $5 million to bring in a Van Noy, to bring in a Clowney, to bring in one of these guys like we have. So I would have loved to gotten an edge early. Like if we pick Ezaraku with the first pick, I am through the moon happy. If we go with James Pearson as upside, through the moon happy. Any of those edge rushers in the first round, I'll be happy. But you can't have everything. So there's always going to be a hole, and that's kind of the fun part about this exercise, and why I think it's valuable to see how you want to sequence your needs versus your upside. So yeah, it's you can't have everything. So in the fourth round, what I'm going to do is go with a positional favorite, and I'm going to go ahead and address this inside linebacker position with Jeffrey Bassa. I'm going back to Oregon, 7 picks later. Got Jamari Caldwell. Now I got Jeffrey Bassa. This guy, to me, Alec, has Mike qualities. So you look at in college football, everybody's a will linebacker. They're subbing in and out now, Alec. It's specialized. You got your 2-down linebackers in college now. This guy, the way he is able to avoid blocks is really impressive to me. His physicality is impressive to me. He is a very good blitzer on top of it. He's range. He's a wrap-up tackler. He's got some stopping power with his tackling too. But what I like most about him, Alec, is his ability to duck and dodge and sidestep these big O linemen. He's got like a feel for him. If he feels them coming in his peripheral vision, Bassa can get out the way and keep his lane integrity and really fill that gap and hit the running back where he's supposed to be on time. So what this would do, it would give us insurance for Roquan, and it would probably give us an upgrade next to Trenton Simpson. He's a better football player than Trenton Simpson was coming out. Trenton Simpson is an elite athlete. So if Trenton takes off and it clicks, perfect. You got yourself a beast next to Roquan. But if Trenton still struggles, you got a smart player like Bassa who can play the pass well, knows where he's supposed to be in zone 2. It's just a classic case of inside linebackers not being valued as much as other positions. So you're getting a damn good one in the fourth round.
That's a great analysis. I'm getting Jim in the chat says I need to get a corner next, and I thought about it. Remember, I originally said the first 5 picks. I want to kind of address those 5 needs, but looking at how the board's falling, I don't know if I like any of the corners here just yet. I think
they're going to pick on you, bro. This is the beauty of this exercise.
I don't think I like any of the corners here just yet. I think in the 5th round is the time to maybe hit on corners. I think there's a gap right now.
Dorian Strong's got some fans, bro. Dorian Strong's no joke. He's a 4-5 guy too, but he can play.
I see him on your list. I see him on Brugler's list. He has a 4th round grade on Strong. Is it crazy, Jason, for me to say, you know what, Caldwell's not a bad idea? I'll take him. 7 picks.
I mean, I would call you a copycat, but go for it.
But hey, I think
you team up. Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you would get Caldwell and Harmon on your same team after they played together in college, Alec.
I know. I mean, that's
pretty
one of the reasons I said it, because I mean, you mentioned Bassa, going back to Oregon. I was like, well, I could go back to Oregon too, But hey, maybe I'll go with Jim here and go with Strong. Not the worst pick at this position. Puts a different name on the board. One of the things we're trying to do here is get to a bunch of different names. I'm looking at it here in your notes, man. What about him do you like? Because my big thing with corner is we have TJ Tampa, who was like a steal last year, but then he was hurt. Hopefully he's not hurt right this year. And but you're still looking at how JD's about to cycle out. You've got a whole lot of nothing after that. It gets kind of thin. What do you think Strong would be able to bring to this rotation? Because I don't see anybody we draft at this point getting major snaps unless there's a injury.
Well, I just think that you have to prepare for that at corner. I think, and this is another interesting question back to you. So there, Caleb Bransall, great slot corner. Jacob Parrish, great slot corner. The Ravens seem to love Marlon at nickel. Bless you, sir. Thank you for fighting through.
Yeah.
But if you're picking a corner in the second, really anywhere outside the first round, you're picking a guy as a rookie who's going to have some bugaboos. So like my guy Noel Williams, ball hawk, but really you don't want to stick him man to man. He doesn't have that kind of speed. Your guy Strong, same kind of thing. He's a zone corner. You can ask him to press man against certain types of receivers, but the burners are going to burn Dorian Strong. How would you feel about taking a pure slot corner? Like the two guys I mentioned, Jacob Parrish out of K-State, just a dog, bro, like absolute dog, but he's 5'10", doesn't miss any tackles. Like Jahdae Barron you could take in the first round.
Right.
Probably a better slot corner, like kind of a Trent McDuffie type guy. How do you think a slot corner would fit with this group? I don't think it would be ideal, but if something happened to Cheeto Awuzie, who has an injury history, or if something happened to Nate, we could be able to, plug in an outside corner, or if something happened to our slot guy, we could move Marlon back outside.
Right. Yeah, I think getting a slot isn't the worst idea, particularly in these rounds, because this is the area of the draft historically where you can find good slots, and where the Ravens have struck before. I think you bring up a good point, though, when you're looking at how you're backfilling the back end of the roster. JAD and Tampa both project as outside corners, and the slot is where it's a little thinner. You have Marlon that plays there. You have the idea of Kyle coming down. Maybe if you have Watts, you're like more with that. Or Darius could come in and play that area. But yeah, going ahead and get a slot corner here gives you a lot of versatility to move your other chess pieces around if needed. You're muted, Jason.
Sorry about that, guys. Multitasking got me. So our biggest misses, I figured this would be like, okay, what are you going to have to go for in the late rounds? Maybe strike a high traits guy in the late rounds to where if he busts out, okay, if he hits, you getting somebody, or a free agent, somebody you can plug and play. Mine's pretty obvious. My biggest miss in this draft is the edge. What would you say your biggest miss is, Alec?
I guess I would argue maybe even corner, right? Like maybe you want a more impact player right away at corner. Another thing that we're looking at here is the positional friction I've introduced. So in the third round, I'm taking an edge, but it's not clear how that roster spot exists, right? Because you have all the edges returning this year. So I think that's always the tough part about the draft. Tecovas said it, and we've talked about it in our, when we talked to each other. 11 picks is a lot of picks. I don't know how they can all possibly play. I don't know how they can all make the roster. Introducing that friction early on in the third round is tough. But when you know that the Ravens will do it. That's the thing I think you have to keep in mind. The Ravens aren't afraid of making a weird roster crunch. They'll try to make a trade, get somebody off the roster if they need to, or cut loose. They know what they have. They might think, Jabo's toast. It didn't work out. They're willing to move on. I'm not projecting that I think that's maybe the case, but they might think that. So the Ravens will. It wouldn't shock me if they draft a running back early-ish because they just love a guy. Yeah, dude, because that's the way they are. They'll be on the clock for 129, dude, and there's gonna be some running back that they covet, and they're just they could take them. It wouldn't shock me. It's not what I would do, but it wouldn't shock me at all if the Ravens.
129 early. 129 early.
Well,
you mean not talking about like second round or nothing?
No. Sorry, not that early. I guess like early relative to like positional value. I know that they've drafted a lot of fourth round running backs, but like you look at the running back room right now, and you think and also like how replaceable that position can be. Spending a fourth round pick with this friction you have going on right now would be surprising, but they might really like a guy. I mean, like they love J.K. Dobbins, right? And they just did it in the second round.
It's true. It's true. So, how did you guys do in your? If anybody's bold enough or remembers, I should have probably kept track, but type in your 5 names if you have them. And if we end the stream early, for those of you watching on the replay, or if you go back and watch it, type in your 5 names. Or if you don't have names, if you don't study the draft, what positions do you want to fill in what round? If the draft was perfectly fallen to us. So, yeah, I'm very curious. I think this was a good exercise. I think a lot of people play fantasy football, and there's always that question on, man, I really need to get a running back now, but this running back isn't going to score me as many points as this wide receiver. But shoot, should I wait on a quarterback or should I just take Lamar because there's nobody there that I like? I can take Lamar or Josh Allen, or I can get this, running back to fill a slot. And this is kind of like the point of this exercise in real life is if you don't grab one now, come next round, what is the drop off at that position? And are you going to need something else? And the Ravens, I think, Alec, the other thing to keep in mind, shouldn't be further from all of our minds. I think it's first and foremost on a lot of fans' minds, is that we're trying to win a Super Bowl here.
Yep.
I mean, we are not picking at the top of the draft. We're not rebuilding where we can just go, look, man, we're going to go best player available. Our needs do not matter, not even 1%. In this drill, I think our needs actually matter a little bit more because we're so damn close. And you don't know how much longer you got of Lamar in his prime, with Derrick Henry in his prime. You're one injury away from the whole thing being upended. So they could really use players that could help them now. And maybe with my first pick, Banks, he doesn't help us now. Maybe it's week 8 where he helps us. Maybe Xavier Watts, our second round pick. Okay, he's on the field 50% of the time because our Darius is going to play. Kyle's going to play. Marlon's going to be in the slot. But we're getting guys like the Ravens starting 22 or 25, however you want to put it, is pretty damn strong. We're trying to fill in studs around that.
Yeah, you're right. At the end of the day, they're trying to win a Super Bowl, and it's tough to balance looking ahead at how these players are cycling off the roster. You look at the roster 3 years ago, and then look at it now. It's only 20 of the same guys. It's kind of crazy when you think about it that way, but it's true. There's a lot of cycling that happens in the NFL, so you gotta try to win now because there's no promise that these guys are going to still be around, and that needs change quickly.
Alec, am I on mute?
No, you're not.
So I'd also want to say, I went on another pod recently, and the guys on the pod are still just kind of like, I don't know, brother. It's like they're hungover from the season, and they're still kind of down in the glum, down in the dumps a little bit. And I get it, but like when I look at this roster, I'm more optimistic this year than I was last year. This time last year, we were turning over Morgan Moses and Kevin Zeitler, and we were losing Clowney and Patrick Queen and Geno Stone and Ronald Darby. And we had all these question marks to fill. And like this year, this team, we're bringing back plenty of starters. We are going to be good. Lamar and Henry are going to be great again. Bateman looks good if he can stay healthy again. D-Hop is going to help us in that slot. Zay Flowers. It's just a lot of talent. Our defense, talent on all 4 levels. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I want to type in some other mock drafts here. Jim. All right, read them off to me, brother, because I'm on the other screen. We got Izir Raku.
Yeah. Savanea.
Yeah. Okay. The guard.
Farmer,
my favorite defensive lineman. And he did, Jim, he could be there in the 3rd round.
Strong.
Okay. Copycatting off Alec, Jim. I see you.
Well, Jim was the one who wanted me to get him.
Okay, all right. Well, there you
and Cone,
Billy,
Kalen.
yeah, B Hall. So Jim doubling up on the corners. I like that, Jim, because JAD might not be long for this roster, Alec. He's
Yeah,
in his
no,
final year.
he definitely could be cut. That's kind of like the one of those frictions, right? Like he could be cut easily by whoever they draft in a 4th-round pick, kind of thing,
All
or
right,
even
and we
even the 5th, right? Because he was a 4th-round pick himself, and that was years ago.
all right. So I'm going to put the day in here too, man. And let's get the day in here. The day. You can't forget the part, right? All right, who we got with the day, Alec?
Pierce,
Okay, James Pierce Jr. So we got guys going edge early, Alec. I feel like they're
yeah,
going to be mad at us for not addressing edge. Go ahead.
Winston,
Ah, man, just a great player there.
Frazier.
Frazier, the guard, right?
I believe so. I think they were talking about that player.
Yeah, Miles
earlier in the
Frazier out of
chat.
LSU. Big old
Yep.
guard today. I like him.
Caldwell, so your guy at D
All right.
line,
All
and
right.
then
Good pick.
Strong, my guy, for the 5th pick.
A lot of Dorian Strong love. That's
Sounds
going to
like a
have me
Raven.
watching where he's going to go. Sounds like a Raven.
Sounds like a Raven. Well, I think you mentioned in here that you were worried about his play strength, or no? Was that somebody else?
Who's that? Strong?
Strong. Maybe that was somebody else.
I feel like he's going to be okay.
Okay. Yeah, you said enjoy physicality on press coverage. Eyes look good in the zone, and he does a good job anticipating. Long speed and quickness is his issue. Overrated.
Right.
I think I always kind of feel like that's overrated. The amount of plays that, I mean, obviously you can get, attacked, right? They might be like, oh, he doesn't have a long speed, that we're going to go after that. But in those kind of situations, if they have the player for it, you play, a shell and you dare them, So I feel like it's something. I feel like long speed's something that you can cover up with corners pretty easily.
You sure can. You can just scheme them out of it, and it's a lot of zone defense anyway. At the goal line and stuff like that, that's where you got to get physical. I am kind of a stickler for speed on my corners, and it does cost them. We have another. Let's see, who was it? It was my JP.
Terry?
Who did?
Oh no!
Did
Oh yeah.
JP
Yeah.
next?
Yeah, you have JP. My bad. Yep.
Okay, JP, and that's JP Jason. So I'm gonna. Oops, sorry. Let's go ahead. Doing the best I can here.
You're good.
All right. So what JP have for us?
Ezraku. Watts.
Okay. Watts again.
Yeah.
Copying off of us. Nah, that we
Uh,
said it at the same time, Alec. That was
I know.
funny.
I know. Milam.
All right, Milam. He's got a lot of love from the community. I know our good friend Cole Jackson likes him.
Okay. Farmer.
Farmer, man, see, I would love that, and I should have picked him in my draft because I have him way higher than everybody else.
It's true. And Grant.
Grant,
Yeah.
who we talking about there, JP?
Let's look at your big board.
You're not talking about Kenneth Grant. He's not. He's going to be way gone.
Oh yeah, you only got 2 guys. And they'll be way gone.
Yeah, I'm leaving your Grant off unless you come back and tell me who it is.
Charles.
Grant. Okay, no, that's a good call. And do I have C Grant on my big board? I gotta check that out. Yeah, developmental tackle. I like that pick a lot. I wasn't even thinking about that, JP. Good call, brother. Good call.
I don't think you have him on your big board, but maybe I don't know.
He is. He's on the big board. Definitely. He's probably in that blue range. But I got to put a C next to his name, because there's obviously first round Grant. Dr. Draft. Okay, Dr. Draft. I'm going to keep track of all these. I'm going to see if like the Ravens. And I'm putting Dr. Draft up there, Terry. Because I like feeding your ego. Now, I know you had Donovan Jackson.
You did have Grant, but he was at you had him at 66. That's why I figured that you meant it was too high.
Yeah, no, he could go because he's a William and Mary guy, I believe.
Okay.
Developmental guy. So Norman Lott in the second. That's early for him, man. I wouldn't be surprised if you took him there.
Noel
right.
Williams.
He was on my guy Noel.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Caldwell, another Mir, and then Justin Wiley.
Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, Justin Wiley. And he's a corner, right, Terry? Okay. All right. All right. So there we go. There we go. Love all that. So I have your guys' stuff up there. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Nice.
So I really enjoyed this exercise. Alec, I'm going to talk about draft day a little bit. We're going to be here. Our guy Yuri is trying to get off of work to be here.
Okay.
We are supposed to. I didn't get Jason Z on here. We got one. We got room for one more.
Go for it.
We got room, Jason. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up, brother. All right, who we got, Alec?
Ezraku.
You guys, man, you love my guy Iziraku.
Watts. Porter.
Oh man, Jason Z. This should have been my perfect draft. You're doing a better Jason than Jason. All right.
T. Robinson.
All right. Yeah. D lineman. Ty is a force in there.
And then Rivers, the guy we talked about.
Hey man, sign me up.
A lot of good drafts. See, that's the thing that's funny, man. We did this perfect draft exercise. I'd be happy literally with any of these. You know what I mean?
Almost like Jason Z's better than mine.
You know, it's funny how that happens.
But you know, Jason though, he's getting greedy with if we have an injury on the offensive line, we're in trouble, Jay. We're in trouble over there, Mr. Z. But yeah, that's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, and we'd have another T. Robinson on the team, and they both be bad men. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. So Alec, there we go. Great show. That was a lot of fun.
It's always fun, man.
And it is always fun. But yeah, during the draft, we're going to have different scrolls across the bottom. Of course, I'll have the player slides, which you guys have seen earlier, so we can really follow this thing. Alec is going to help us, hold it down. I'm going to be counting on you guys. Feel free. I know some of you have other streams that you want to watch. Just keep in mind, there's going to be no ads on this channel. Excuse me. So you can pop in and out and not have to sit there and wait for a 30-second ad. I'm not trying to monetize this at all. I just want it to be a place where people can come and enjoy it. We're going to be updating the big board as we go. It's just going to be good times, man. It's going to be good times. And, just a peek behind the scenes. The notes that I take on these guys are pretty extensive. Alec has access to all this, but the games I'm watching, the times, you can kind of see on the screen right there, right now. I really take my time, and this is a passion, a love of mine for all these guys. So I love it. I love this process. I love sharing it with you. And, I'm not just talking about Alec. I'm talking about all the people in the comments. Sorry for rambling and getting a little sappy here, but just I love it. I love it. I can't wait for draft day, Alec.
Same, kind of. I feel like this has been nonstop week. But hey, very exciting. The new league year kind of really begins in earnest after the draft. And that's when you get your first real idea of what this team is going to look like in 2025. Because right now there's so much in flux, right? Like we talked about. I mean, even you look at it. Yeah, sure. Everyone wants Ezraku, right? Like it's a lot of people going edge, but guards we talked about. We talked about D line, and there's other position groups. Maybe they do take a safety right away. There's so many different ways that first domino can fall, and then how it's going to impact each other domino, and then how those guys are able to slot in, earn playing time. It's super exciting.
And I think that this year more than ever, there's going to be if we take somebody in the first round, I'm going to have other people higher than them. It's very rare that you get your guy, Yeah. But I'm going to be more happy than normal. Number one, because you never know how these guys pan out. Let's not have the ego to say, I know how their career is going to go. You don't have their background information. You don't have their medicals. You don't have so much information that the Ravens do. But I could see us picking anybody up into the early 30s on my board and being happy with them, Alec. Like, there's really not a lot big difference in talent base, and I'll be thinking that they're going to be doing what we did tonight. Like, they're looking at this, okay, well, let's get our this now, and we're going to get our that later. So really, I feel like it's going to be the draft is always a little bit stressful because you want your guys, but I think that I'm going to be content with however the Ravens slice it. I don't think they're going to go way off the board and take a Cole Strange or Damon Arnett like the Raiders. The Ravens are going to have a very good idea of what they want to do, not only in round one, but throughout the draft like we did here.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they talked about it last year, and that's what got me all nerding out about it, was that they felt like if they didn't go corner first, then it wasn't going to fall back to them, and they were right, and then they were able to go get their tackle they wanted in the second, and things of that nature.
Yeah,
I mean that's like exactly that's the stuff I eat up, is how you sequence the picks, because they anticipate how everyone else is going to draft, and that's, I think, actually one of the big reasons why I think it's so interesting how that first domino falls, because like we were kind of discussed with the Watts pick, it's like I feel like that might be telegraphed almost if they leave it available. But at the same time, who's to say that they don't covet some edge rusher that falls, or D lineman that falls, or even a corner or edge. I mean,
yeah, I was a little
anything can
disappointed,
happen.
not disappointed, but surprised. Now, all these people played along with us, and none of us took a corner in the first round.
Yeah, and I mean that totally could happen, right?
Yeah,
Barron's
right.
just right there, like potentially. Although it sounds like there's a lot of interest in him in the later rounds or later part of the first round, so wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if he goes to like
But even
24.
if not, Maxwell Hairston, the ball hawk out of
Yeah.
Kentucky, a 4.28 guys, you could draft 4.28 40 corners back-to-back years. This guy
Yeah.
is an off-ball specialist, break on the ball, intercept it, pick six magnet. I think he had three pick sixes in college, Maxwell Hairston. Or you could go with a Trey Amos at the bot, sticky, tall, really good player. So I'm surprised that nobody in here addressed the corner position because the Ravens love their cornerbacks.
Yep. And it's one of those things that you could see him playing right away. I don't think they're married to having
Old Cheeto.
Cheeto. Yeah, I was like, what's his nickname again? Yeah, Cheeto. I don't think they're married to that whatsoever as a starter.
All right, so this was a lot of fun. I hope you guys check in. We're going to get started on time this year. So 8 o'clock. It's going to be boring at first, but we're going to make it not boring.
Cam
So
Ward.
they're going to be tracking people up. My TV's right there. It's going to be 8:05, and Cam Ward's not going to be taken. It's going to be 8:20, 8:25 before Cam Ward walks across the stage, and we're going to be here talking Raven. But we have the depth chart, also something I'm going to lean on. Now, this isn't the good version, but yeah, we're going to try to make this bigger for people to be able to see how we fill in. So we could type in the rookies' names as we go and see where we sit. So we'll have the depth chart. We'll be updating everything, and I'll be having plenty of help nailing this down. So, Alec, last words, brother. Final thoughts here on this great episode.
Let's get some good players.
All right. Well, hey, we'll take it.
I mean, that's it, man. Like in EDC we trust, and I'm looking forward to watching him cook, just like one of the people in the comments just said.
Yeah, let EDC cook the day singing everybody bring a dish. Yeah, bring it. Make your hoagies, Alec. Make your hoagies.
Dude, I got so many leftovers from Easter. I'm not making nothing all week. It's leftover city.
Does anybody else do ham on Easter? Because we got a lot of ham. I'm gonna be a ham. I'm gonna be a ham addict by Thursday. But yeah. So thank you to our football family. Love our football family. I really can't wait to see y'all in here helping us out, bringing up your comments on Thursday. We'll be covering it day 1, day 2. Please share. I'll be putting it on Twitter, but please share and bring more people in. This would be great. Love y'all. Have a good night. Say good night to the people out.
Good night.